Valley Homestead. We're back in Casey's kitchen today, cooking up another good recipe. So today I'm going to show you my egg drop soup. And this is also part of my pantry meal series that I'm going to be having to go over the next few months. And I'll be bringing you some recipes on everything that we've been putting up during the spring and summer and fall, and how we're using those in some different recipes. So today we're going to be using my chicken broth. I have a video on this on how to can chicken broth, and this is what we're going to be using today. Now this recipe calls for 4 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 quarts because we really like this recipe, and we're going to probably eat more than we're supposed to. So we're going to go ahead and pour 2 quarts of the chicken broth into a hefty stock pot. I have one here that, of course, it's Rachel Ray, but it's deep, and I want that because later we're going to have to do a little magic to get the egg drop soup to come together. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and put in 2 quarts of my chicken broth, and I'm going to shake it up because all the good stuff settled on the bottom. And let's just pour that on in here. If you want to, go ahead and get together as well garlic powder and cornstarch. That'll be the next 2 ingredients that we're going to put in here. And you can use vegetable stock or turkey stock because it was just Thanksgiving, and I hope a lot of you guys saved your carcasses or your friends' carcasses from their turkeys so that you can make some turkey bone or broth and have that canned up. So to this, we've got to add some cornstarch while it's cold, because if you try to add it after it's hot, it won't dissolve. So we've got to add this while it is cold. And it says to use 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to that 4 cups, which is 1 quart. We're going to add about, let's do 3, because I don't want it to be too starchy. So we'll do about 3 tablespoons. 1 and 2. We'll start with 3 and see how that goes. All right. Okay, so with the garlic powder, we're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon. And we also need ginger. And you can do this fresh grated or the ground powder. And you'll need 1 teaspoon. 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. So if you do 1/3 of this, you will have 1 teaspoon. So that way you don't have to dirty up a whole bunch of dishes. It wants to come out in clumps today. Okay. So there we go. Let me put my stuff back up. Okay, let's get a whisk and go ahead and get the cornstarch and everything mixed in. All right. So one thing about cornstarch, it settles on the bottom and gets stuck. Got to get it mixed up before we warm it up though. Go ahead and put it on medium-high because we need to bring it to a simmer. And while this is warming up, we need, this recipe, it calls for 3 eggs. So I'm going to do about 5 or 6. We like eggs. So in our bowl here, we're going to go ahead and put our about 6 eggs. After the holidays, my eggs are getting pretty slim. I don't know about you guys, but everybody needed eggs to cook with Thanksgiving. we're going to go ahead and whisk those up with a fork. Alright, so some other ingredients I'm going to use in this recipe, of course, is salt and pepper. And then we need some sesame seed oil because it brings out that Oriental Chinese flavor as you would get in the restaurant. Alright, we got our eggs whisked in. Now, if you would like, you could also put some whole kernel corn in here, which would also be in my pantry, but we prefer not to do that. And then if you want, you could put some green onions, excuse me, or some chives or garlic chives. So let me show you what that soup looks like. Okay, I'm going to cut the overhead light on so I don't have too many shadows on it. But it's kind of cloudy. And as this warms up, it's going to begin to thicken up some. Now we wait. Bring it to a simmer. So while this is simmering, I'm going to go ahead and fix another dish that we're going to be having with this. This is my egg roll in a bowl. And I'm going to fix that on the back eye. So you can go back and watch that recipe as well. And I'm going to throw that together real quick. Okay, my lovely fellows. This is simmering. Now, if you happen to get to this point and it's not as thick as you would like, you can take another tablespoon of cornstarch and put it in some cold water, mix it up real quick, and then put that in here. Okay, so I didn't want to lead you astray thinking that was all you could put in here. So what we need to do now is make a whirlpool effect. Make a whirlpool effect. Get your eggs handy. And slowly pour the eggs in. Can you guys see? Keep it going. Little streams at a time. Ta-da! You have egg drop soup. Okay, I've got a spoon now. We are going to cut the heat off. See all the nice pretty little ribbons of eggs in there? You want to see? Look at there. Nice and pretty egg drop soup. Alright, so we've got the heat off. And I'm going to go ahead and take this off of the eye because my eye is a cool eye and it stays hot for a while. So to this, we're going to drizzle with some sesame seed oil. I gotta shake mine up because my stuff settles to the bottom. Okay, and then we are going to just drizzle about a tablespoon of sesame seed oil in. And then this is where you will add any of your green onions or corn. If you want to add some corn, you would do that here. And then this is ready to enjoy. Okay, so now that it's stopped cooking and my eye has cooled off a little bit, I'm going to set it back on there just to keep it warm while we finish up the egg roll in a bowl. Now, I don't know if you see me or not. I think I forgot to hit record. But I pre-prepped a lot of my vegetables on Sunday. This was one of them. I went ahead and shredded the cabbage and the carrots and a whole bunch of other vegetables that I use for my breakfast meals. So that made it a lot easier just to throw this together. So go back and check out my video on egg roll in a bowl. The only thing I'm doing different in this recipe is I had bok choy this time, and so I added some bok choy to it because it needs to be used, and I'm fixing to have quite a few heads of that come in. I planted some of that for the fall for the first time. That's actually my flower beds out back. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with this. I'll bring you back when it's done. This is also a really good meatless Monday kind of dish. You can put... Steve was like, what? Meatless?
I like meatless.
Yeah, because most of the time meatless means free around here. With gross meat vegetables. So you can put chicken in here. You can actually put chicken in your egg drop soup if you want to. But there's enough protein between the bok choy and the eggs that went in the egg drop soup that is perfectly fine if you want to leave that out. So I'm actually going to do like a meatless Monday tonight. But it's Tuesday. And go ahead and get this finished up. All I've got to do is add the seasonings, but I just wanted to give you that idea. And this is the time of year that everything can be off the farm. You can can your own broth. You might have chickens that have eggs. Some of the spices you may have to buy, but that's okay. The cabbage is growing right now. Bok choy is growing. Probably just finishing up for most of you. And carrots are probably getting ready. So most of this is a fall time recipe or springtime recipe that you can be doing right fresh off the farm. Now the carrots were actually from my dad's garden. I did have to buy the cabbage because our cabbage does better in the springtime than it does the fall. And I've never actually had bok choy that I know of. I've never cooked with it. So this is something new for me. And I wanted to try it since I've got so much growing outside. Like, well, we better try it before we, end up having umpteen heads and have to eat it. So I'll throw that in here. I had to store-bought that to throw it in here just to make sure that we were going to like it. So everything's almost done, and I'll show you the finished product.